Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to a brand new week of the Humble Word Program. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing a little pin here. This is one my daughter and my son-in-law made. Their business. That is Favor and Focus. If you haven't seen the video that I made, you should watch that. I think I've posted it on this channel. If not, it is on my Humble Horologist channel. As a matter of fact, there's a pin there for the Humble Horologist. Isn't that cool? And they have this business, and so I'm trying to support my kids. I mean, is there anything wrong with that? No, there's not. And so check them out. Go to their website, which is favorinfocus.com, and check and see what they do, and maybe order something from them. They can send it right out, whatever you want. All right. Well, that's not a paid commercial. This is not a sponsored program. Just want to make that clear. Today, we're going to be looking at the next of the weapons, or the armor, that is, in the Christian's armor that God provides. And I think this one is it's going to be special for some people today. I mean, it's going to mean something to somebody, I know, because it means something to me, because I've had personal experience with this piece of armor. All right. Now, in the modern world, if Paul was to use a modern soldier's armor and reference it, the breastplate would essentially be the IOTV version 5. What is that? That is the improved outer technical vest, or you might just say bulletproof vest that the Army wears. I mean, this is something that is very high tech, not cheap, several $100s to thousands of dollars, per vest. But it's meant to keep this area, your rib cage area, I believe, but definitely, down your stomach, your chest, but mainly your heart, your organs, your lungs, from being damaged by, small weapon fire, explosive fragments that come from explosives, things like that. And in a way, it does what the old vest here that is being talked about here, that Paul's talking about, it does what that was meant to do, but it does it so much more. The old vest, or not vest, but breastplate that the Roman soldier would wear would be say bronze on the outside, leather, wool, or something on the inside to give it some padding. And it would be meant to stop arrows in most cases. At least it would be a slow them down. Spears up close, and swords, maybe other sharp things. The shield that you carried would be one to absorb things like arrows shot from a distance, or other heavier blows from things like direct sword, whatever. But this is going to be armor that's going to help when you're up close in combat. Now, what are we talking again? Let's go to the verse. I haven't read that yet, but let's go to verse 12. Verse 13. It says, verse 13, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness." So what are we talking about here when we say breastplate of righteousness? Well, the thing is Paul is trying to get us to understand that we need to be girded with truth. We need to have truth as what holds us together. Everything is centered around truth. And then the breastplate of righteousness, he's saying there, go into your fight, go into war, go in against the enemy with the righteousness of God on you. Now, if I could put it in another way, the righteousness of God, this armor, this breastplate of righteousness, it's not our righteousness. Do you get this? This righteousness is not ours. We have to get it from God. It is put on us. That righteousness is external. It doesn't matter who we are, it doesn't matter what we've done. As long as we have on that armor, it's going to do its job. And guys, that's essentially what salvation is. It is putting on the righteousness of Christ. We are clothed in his righteousness. And so Paul's saying the righteousness of God is that armor to your heart. It's that armor to your chest, okay? That armor to your lungs. And how is that? Well, let me give you just a good example. When you go through life, you're having a great day, but then all of a sudden you find yourself being reminded by the enemy, being reminded, in your own thoughts or by somebody, which makes it even worse, that you have committed some sin, that you have failed in some really just unfortunate, sad, sinful way, something humiliating, something that just really would debilitate you if you let it. And maybe, you've done something that you really seriously regret and you wonder, how can I even go farther than how can I go any further? Literally, it's a blow to your heart. It saps your strength. It discourages you. It robs you of motivation. It's a blow. Well, guess what? Usually, what happens then for the person without the armor, without the breastplate of righteousness, they're going to feel the guilt. They're going to feel the sorrow. They're going to feel the shame. And they're going to be reminded of the fact that they sinned. They're going to think about themselves as unholy, unforgiven, unrighteous. They're going to turn away from the fight because they don't feel that they're worthy to even be out there. They're going to lose hope. They're going to lose faith in many cases, and they're going to leave the fight. So what is the breastplate of righteousness going to do? It's going to stop those blows. In effect, it's going to say, devil, you can accuse me, you can hit me, you can try to stab me in the heart with that thing I did in the past. Yeah, it's sharp. Yeah, it can hurt. But you know what? I'm wearing the breastplate of righteousness. God has clothed me. He has put righteousness on me, his righteousness. And you can't pierce his righteousness. You can't accuse him of sin. You can't say he is unforgiven. He is guilty. No, I'm wearing his righteousness. And so therefore, your accusations, your lies, even the truth, when you bring up my past, it doesn't matter anymore because I've been forgiven. I am righteous before God. That is a powerful piece of armor. Amen. You may need that today. You may need to just put that one on and hold, make sure it's buckled in and everything else along the rest of the armor. But you may want to have this one on especially because maybe, you're going to be reminded of how you failed in the past doing something. You're going to be reminded when you do it again. And the devil's going to say, see there, you can't be trusted. You're not a soldier. You can't do this. But that breastplate is going to be there to deflect those blows. And it's going to remind the devil and it's going to remind you that you are righteous before God. You are forgiven because of Jesus. Amen. Well, I hope this has been an encouragement. Totally off the cuff, so to speak. But I know how it feels if you're going through something like that. I'm just thankful that I'm forgiven. Amen. Have a great day. Hang in there. Let's get back together tomorrow and we'll look at a little more of this and be encouraged. All right. Have a great day. God bless. We'll see you then.